Alright, well, here we are in another room here, and I thought I'd do a little video on something that I haven't talked about a lot, is this big old backpack you see right here. And I've had this for a number of years, and as you see, it's pretty full. I don't know, I bet it weighs 30 pounds. But this is my camera bag. And I don't know if you can see this, but the brand is a Nanu Sahara. Nanu is the brand, I'm sorry, right here, Nanu. And the model is the Sahara 217F. And I had a friend of mine who had this bag, and after I saw it, I had to have one. And I looked and I looked, and come to find out, I contacted the Nanu people, and it was out of production. But I finally found one used, and now they're back in production now. So if you go to the Nanu website, you can still find them. And but I think there's a little bit difference on the new ones. This on mine, this buckle right here is metal, and the new ones I think it's plastic. But like I said, this is a camera bag, and it's set up for camera bags, and I'll show you a little bit about that. So you start on the outside of the bag. If you unzip this part down here, this little pouch comes out like this. And what that does is you line your tripod up here and you buckle it down with these straps. The bottom of your tripod sits in there, and you attach them to these buttons. So you can put a tripod, and it sits through here. My tripod's right there, I can't do it. And it's strapped to your back. And these just Velcro over the rest of the tripod. So that's a nice feature. One thing this one does not have is a rain cover, but you can get past that, that's no problem. On the side right here, if you unzip this, you can pull this out. It says even H2O, so you can guess what that is. That's just a mesh pocket that comes out. You can put your little water bottle or cup or whatever you want in there, your drink, your soda, whatever it is you might be indulging in at the time, even a beer maybe. Unzip on this buckle right here. If you unzip this, it'll hold your laptop can fit in there up to probably a 17-inch. I think I put in there at one time. So as far as the waterproof, as you can see, I've got a trash bag in there, and that comes in handy too if you're out somewhere shooting. Like the last time I went out, I went to that balloon festival, and I laid that on the ground so I could lay the bag down, and it didn't pull any moisture out of the grass. It's got these pockets on the front, which I don't use very often, but they're there. And there's two of them. This big pouch on the front, if you want to open it up, we'll just go through what I carry around. I have two of the Black Rapid camera straps. If you've never tried these, I highly recommend it. Highly recommend Black Rapid products. I have two. This one right here I actually found secondhand. It was brand new, and I got it for probably a quarter of what the actual price of these things are. And this is, I think this one's called the Yeti. And so this one you strap over your shoulder, and the camera will hang on this side, and there's another strap that attaches here and here, so you can basically have two cameras hanging off of one strap, one on the left side of your body and one on the right. I have a camera lens cleaning kit over here. I've got some 35mm film. Believe it or not, I still shoot film. These are actually have been exposed, so I need to get those developed. So that's a bunch of film in there. And these straps is what was in that pocket. I'll just close this up for now. This bag is pretty cool. I really do like it quite a bit. And like I said earlier, these the two of the legs from the tripod can fit under these, and the top one can lay that way. It does have a spot here so you can have an MP3 player. The speakers will come out through there, your headphones. It has a zipper compartment on the outside here, very thin, and inside that one I have just some camera filters. I label mine, so this is a graduated ND filter, 77mm, with what they are, so they're easier to grab instead of trying to read the filter rings. This cable here is this is actually a flash trigger for an older flash model that I have. Let's see here. This is a better beamer. You can look this up. This is a flash extender. It goes on your speed light, and it's got a Fresnel lens on the end, and it'll really magnify your flash. I have some old travel ticket airline boarding passes in here. I have two of these because I have one for my wife, and her camera bag's not quite this big. This is a lens cloth. This is a AA battery tray for my camera grip. I have a GoPro battery in here. Have some miscellaneous writing instruments, some pens, some more boarding passes, and another, this is a nugget, or a, I don't know what you call it, attachment goes on the bottom of the camera so you can hook the black wrapper strap to it. Let's put this stuff back away. This is the whole camera bag. This is where all the lenses and everything goes. If you want, you can lift this right out of there, and then you can just use this bag for a regular backpack. So if I were to do that, you know, I could zip it up. And it also has this zipper system on the outside, so it collapses it even smaller. So you zip this up, like those expanding bags. So there you go. So now you just got a smaller backpack, and I'll miss it. And go back even around. So it goes around twice. So it goes around twice. So once you do that, you can cinch these straps up, and now you have a much narrower backpack to use as a backpack and not just a camera bag, which is pretty nice in itself. Oh, it does have some pretty good straps on it, as you can see. There's some D-rings. They're plastic. Nice firm back. Mine kind of, with the buckles torn, I don't like them to hang out, so I just tape mine up so they don't flap all over the place. So this is typically what I take with me on when I'm going somewhere, whether it's shooting balloons or to wherever, just because I don't know what I'm going to need. I just take it all. So it's very bright, and so in orange or anything you lay in here, that's going to be easy to find. And the lid, it has this little zipper pouch. I have a eye cup in there for the camera. I've got a B&W. I think this is a 10-stop ND filter. So when you see waterfalls that look all milky and creamy, that's what those are. This is a remote shutter release for my camera. And this is also a remote shutter release, but this one you can actually program to come on and off at certain intervals. And these Allen wrenches are for putting attachments onto the bottom of the camera, L brackets, and we'll get into that and I'll show you that in a minute. So this is this is a low pro memory card wallet. My camera uses CF cards instead of the SD cards. It stays in there. We'll just get this out of the way. This is a 35mm camera. This is a Pentax Spotmatic. And the reason I have this camera is it belonged to my father. He's still living, so he belonged to him. He bought it in Vietnam in the 60s, late 60s, 69 or 68, somewhere around that time frame. And because I was into photography, he asked me if I wanted it. I said, yep. So I sent it off to this guy who is the authority on Pentax cameras, and he cleaned it, adjusted the shutter, lubricated it, and calibrated everything. So this camera's in probably as good or better shape as it was when it was bought. And I have a few lenses for it right here. This is not nothing special. This is a Practica. This is a 135mm lens for that Pentax. I also have a 35mm lens for it, and I have a 50mm lens as well, but I don't think I left that in there. Oh, this is the extension strap for that other black wrap I told you about, the Yeti. I also have this. This is a manual focus lens. This is a Nikon 24mm f2.8. It's pretty fun to use. This nice wide angle for a camera. This is a Nikon 85mm prime f1.8. This is a 50mm f1.4. This is a Tamron. Some tickets. This is a Tamron, a 70-200 f2.8. This has been this is affordable. I needed a lens, a 70-200mm lens, and this actually is pretty good for the money. I'm happy with this too. And this is another Tamron lens. The lens hood is on crooked. This is a 150 to 600mm. So as you can see, it gets pretty long. It's a big lens. But this is what I use to get a lot of the pictures of the balloons that we had the other day that was in one of my previous vlogs. And I'm missing a lens right over there, but I'll go get it in a minute. This is the camera body that I use. This is a Nikon D700. I think this camera came out in, it's a full frame camera, 35mm. It came out in 2008, but I will tell you that this camera, even today, for its age, is still a workhorse. I mean, it really is a workhorse of a camera. Okay, so I had to go downstairs because I found the other lenses I thought I was missing. So the other lenses I have is this is a Lester A-Dine 100mm macro, 105mm macro lens, and this lens really has good quality. It's a f2.8, so it's a fast lens, but it's a manual focus, which I don't mind manual focus. You're doing macro work, it's slow anyway. But this lens was originally marketed, I don't know if you can see that. It was a dental lens, so they would take pictures of your teeth, and it shows you that right there. But it's good for macro work, I will tell you that. It's a heavy lens, manual focus, it's real glass, no plastic on this thing. And here is the other Pentax that I had. This is the 50mm f1.4, and I don't have a cap for the back. It's normally on the camera body there. So I got the 35, the 135, and the 50 for the Pentax. And also for the Nikon, I have another Tamron. This is a 28 to 75 f2.8. So I got most of the focal ranges covered. I got 28 to 75. I got a 70 to 200. I got a 105mm macro. I have a 50mm 1.4 dedicated prime, and I also have an 85mm 1.8 dedicated prime lens, and I have a 150 to 600mm telephoto lens, which is good for wildlife. And then I have the film camera, the Pentax. I also have the 24mm for the Nikon, which is a good wide angle. I'm looking for a 20mm, but I can't find one that I want to spend the money on it. Also, something else I normally carry with this kit is my speed light. This is it's not their flagship model. This is an older. This is an SB700. I just couldn't find myself spending the money for a 900 or an SB910. It's just too much money. And yep. And with the film camera, sometimes even though there's an app for it, it cannot replace a light meter. So I have a Sekonic S308 or a L308S light meter. So I got one more bag to discuss, and I will get that just so I put this stuff away. So let's see how fast I can make all this go back in that bag. And there it is. That was quick, not too bad. I don't have the snapping magic fingers that I Seek Out the Truth has, but hey, I'm working on it. So another bag I want to show you is, well, before that, let's look at this. There's another lens I forgot. This is a 35 to 105, but this is also on a film camera. This is a Nikon F100, which is probably one of the top of the line film cameras they did for the price. And yeah, it still works great. Film is not dead. And this is just a part of what I shoot. I also have a medium format camera. I have a Mamiya RB67 that has almost as much stuff too. So this bag is a Low Pro. I don't remember the model. This one I use for strobist work, so outdoor lighting, things like that. I have a bunch of light stands, and I have a bunch of light modifiers, and I have studio lights, everything else. But right here, these are just reflectors that go on speed lights, or flashes as somebody might call them. And this is a snoot from the same company, Rogue. And so this would go on into your speed light, and this right here would go on the end, so it actually would direct the light. I don't know if you can see it, but you can see through it, but you just tilt it a little bit and the light does not come through. So it's like a spotlight. And it comes in handy for different things. And these go on the speed lights. The straps around the flash, and you can bend it and angle it so you can shape the light, which is, if you don't have good lighting for photography, it's going to be hard to make a good image. So I bought all this, and all these lights can go on light stands, and they're cheap. These are not expensive speed lights for my camera by any means, but they do the job. And what helps with them is having a remote trigger. So this is what's in there. On this side right here, I don't have anything maybe, but some, this is an attachment for the light meter. No memory cards are in here, just nothing, this is all light. So these are just really grippy wire things that I used to, you can actually attach these speed lights to tree limbs or signposts or whatever. This is a cable that you attach this side of the camera. You put your flash on this side so you can hold the camera here and hold the speed light wherever you want it to angle the light. This right here are different color of gels that you put over the speed light to change the color of the light that comes out of the flash. And I have 2 of these Yongnuo, what model is this? The 568EX. And I've shot a wedding and I've had these set up around the dance floor on, you know, around the different sections of the dance floor. And this is just to compensate for the crappy lighting that's in there, to make it a little warmer so it doesn't look like fluorescent lights. So I put these on light stands, and then this sets under here between the light stands. So this is like a receiver, and this goes on top of my camera, and I program all this. So when I take a picture, this sends a signal to these. I have 3 of them, so I can have 3 of these set up all over the event on light stands. And when this gets the signal, all the lights flash at the same time. And what's cool is that you can do that, and you can set them for different powers. So you go in there ahead of time with your light meter, and you can actually set the light and adjust it to the brightness that you need. And so when you do take the photo, the picture comes out pretty good. So I have 2 of the Yongnuo 586EXs, and I have another 568EX, and I have another Nikon speedlight, which is the SB600. And this is also works just with these triggers, but also this will talk to the Nikon camera with Nikon's CLS, or creating lighting systems. And I have some miscellaneous cables that go to the flashes, and I also have an Expo disc right here, which you put over the lens of your camera to get accurate white balance for whatever the lighting situation you might be in at the time. So other than other miscellaneous cameras and the medium format system I have, that's all I got for now. So I hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment, and I'll try to answer any questions you might have. I'm not a professional photographer by any means. It's a hobby that I enjoy, and I'm always learning, and I'm always willing to learn more, and I'm always willing to help people out. Maybe in the next video I'll go into my medium format camera. Alright, take it easy.